Hello, everyone. This is Tyler McMillan, Director of Digital Marketing with Legacy Star, powered by Keller Williams. We are here to discuss the real estate market, the overall economic situation amidst our current state of the country. Today, we are joined by the one and only Matthew Swerk, a man who loves the Bruins, misses his sports, but at least has two wonderful daughters at home.
Yes, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate your time today. Welcome, everyone. I was upset when they had canceled the hockey season, and then they canceled school for like a month and a half. So that's been a whole nother situation that we're dealing with. So we're really excited, to start this podcast today. We definitely wanted to get something different out there so we could communicate to the public, just talk a little bit about the behind the scenes of what we're doing in real estate, what we're doing as a family, and sorry, I just got a text message. I'm going to shut that off so I'm not distracted. We're in a meeting right now. Shame on me.
That's okay. That's okay. I need to do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, shut the ringers off. Shut the notifications off. But this is something we want to do, and just please remember, if you find value in this, definitely like us on Facebook. We have a lot of interesting videos that Tyler's worked hard on. He's developed a great little library there, and definitely, if you're watching on YouTube, definitely like us and subscribe to us, and make sure you hit the little bell when you subscribe. That'll give you notifications of new content's coming up, and we have a lot of really great things planned. So definitely like us, follow us, and let us know if we're adding value to your life.
Awesome. So Matt, we're going to keep this pretty conversational today. I think there's a lot of topics to cover, obviously, that we can go point A to point B really organized, but I think I know you and I both together, we sort of go off the rails sometimes and all that. We'll try our best to kind of stay on the rails, but I think, at the same time, we need to have just a normal conversation like two human beings. So if we get a little distracted, that's okay. That's the point of today. So,
well, I'm glad you said that, Tyler, because as far as the conversation is concerned, we do have great conversations. I am really excited to be communicating with you. As people may or may not know, you do all the behind the scenes as far as the video is concerned. And there was one video that we did a walkthrough of one of our rehab properties. And I just thought it was awesome that you were actually in front of the camera with me versus behind the camera. So,
yeah, it was a total change. I mean, I feel like people think I'm like hiding on purpose or like, I'm just like scared to be on the camera, but it's good to finally be seen. So
absolutely. You're a good looking guy. You got a good face for camera.
Oh, shucks. So now that I'm blushing, let's start with the real estate market. So I think the first obvious question that people are probably wondering is like, just basically what does it look like to be a real estate agent out there, or like a home seller? What's it like? Are people wearing gloves? Are people still entering houses? What are you doing to sort of stay safe from this corona, and what are these sellers and buyers doing?
Well, it's interesting you asked that question, and I think a lot of people have that because most people that I'm talking to these days, we're really just making phone calls just to check up on everyone and make sure everyone's safe. And anyone that knows about us, they know that we're very giving, and we're all about giving back to the community, being altruistic, and leading forward. And most of the people I've talked to, once they find out everyone's safe, they are asking about the real estate market. And they say, "Oh, geez, it must be frozen. I can't even imagine that anything is going on right now." And Tyler, it's the complete opposite. I've been almost every single day showing properties. This morning we had a home inspection, and what is it like to be an agent? What is it like to be a seller? What is it like to be a buyer? Anyone that knows me always hears me talk about, I put on different hats, that whether I'm a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, a seller, a home inspector, an appraiser, anyone associated with the transaction. I like to put my glasses and my hat on to understand where they're coming from. So as a real estate agent, it's become it has been strange. My home inspection this morning, the home inspector said, "Listen, I'm going to have the buyers in one room away from me. I want you in the other room away from me. And we're away." And we all had gloves on. We all had booties on. We had Purell before we went in. The home inspector said, "Listen, even with gloves on, I want the three of you to stick your hands in your pockets. Don't touch anything." And basically, when we went room to room, just to help move the process along, I had just said to the inspector, Matt from Pillows to Post, I said, Matt, listen, give me the Clorox wipes. I'll wipe down everything you touch so that way you can keep moving with the buyers and move the process along. So as far as an agent, it's changed in the sense that we're not doing open houses anymore. A lot of my day has now become virtual. What I mean by that is I cannot tell you how many video conference calls I'm on like this, whether we're masterminding with agents across the country, agents in our office, our advanced leadership council. So we're just technology. We're starting to grow more into technology than ever before.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, you know, Keller Williams is the #1 technology company. So now, besides what we're doing as far as, you know, helping to assist our clients, this whole other world that we're communicating with each other and starting to do virtual appointments with our clients. And, you know, instead of sitting down across from them at a kitchen table, I'm sitting there, you know, behind my camera, they're behind their camera, and they're walking around with their phone or their laptop showing me what the house looks like. So that way we can get a determination what the price is going to be.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
The other thing that's been interesting is as far as our time management. So in the past, if I had an appointment scheduled from 2 to 2:30, if I got there at, you know, 2:25 and I knew there was no other showing behind me, I could kind of, you know, take my time to the property with the buyers. That's not the case anymore. If I'm not there at 2 o'clock, people from the previous showing are going to stay longer. And at 2:30, when my appointment's supposed to be over, there's another group that's right there. And we are all being very cautious as far as not being in the property together. You know, if I'm early, I'll take the buyers out around the property and walk around. And really, you know, it's, I feel not gonna chauffeur, like, you know, it's kind of chauffeur. So our customer experience has gotten even better in the sense that, you know, hey, listen, Tyler, you want to go look at that place? No problem. You keep your hands in your pocket. I'll open up every door for you. I'll open everything. I'll have the gloves.
Yeah.
Gloves on too, but you know, we want to really protect our buyers and we want to protect our sellers. So on the flip side of that, well, that kind of wraps up as far as being an agent. And really our job has changed as, you know, we are much more as far as consulting now.
Yeah.
Advising and helping people understand as best as we can the uncertainty that's going on, you know, never mind the real estate market, but just in general.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's really what's caused a big problem is that, not a problem. I think our biggest challenge is that we don't have concrete answers coming out every day. And, you know, when this thing first started and then there was the rush on the toilet paper and there was the rush on the water and there was the rush on the tuna fish.
Yep.
The toilet paper thing, there's a lot of people confused about that. And I said, listen, to me, that makes sense. You know, if you're in your house for 2 weeks,
yeah,
you need toilet paper, right? Yeah,
for sure.
I'm lucky enough. I live in Townsend. My water's pretty good. So for people to say, hey, go out and buy water, that didn't make sense to me. So, so that's, I think the biggest challenge for us. That's what's caused people to go out there and do these shopping is that having control over something. To really understand. So, you know, back off the tangent, going back on the tracks, as far as buyers are concerned, you know, there's a lot of virtual tours. This really applies on both sides, right? And, you know, take a bird's eye view from, you know, looking at properties, whether you're a seller or a buyer. So if you're one of our clients as a seller, you know, what I'm doing is I am, you know, we're very controlled as far as the showings that are happening. We're now doing virtual tours of the properties. You know, people are using Purell before they come in. They have their gloves on. We're advising those buyers agents to, you know, have them make sure the buyers' hands are in their pockets. And also on both sides, really making sure that the buyers are pre-qualified so that we're not wasting their time going into properties.
Exactly.
Exposure, and same thing for the sellers. You know, we're making sure that those buyers are qualified before they walk the door. And on the buy side, I've had a lot of agents, you know, reach out to me when I request a showing, and they just said, Matt, you know, are these people that just called you off the internet? Do you have a relationship with them? Yeah. Their background, because I really, you know, if it's someone you don't know, we're not comfortable having them come in the property, and that's something completely different, right? Because as a seller's agent, my job is to drive as many eyes to that property as possible, right? Yeah. You never know who's going to be the right buyer. So, wow, you know, things have changed, and it's just the market. You know, like I started off talking about, it's still strong right now. You know, and there is the biggest change that's happened is, you've eliminated a lot of tire kickers.
Mm.
There's some people that are very upset that real estate is continuing to move on. We were just deemed essential as of today. Our brokerage has said we're not going to open up the doors to the brick and mortar building. We still want you remotely, which I think I support that 100%. And really, it's just helping to my whole point was that there's people that have to sell, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You're relocating, something for a school system,
Yep.
a buyer, people that are renting that want to get out of their leases, people that are relocating. So
Yeah.
all of those needs, there are some people that just, are shaking their head saying, why would you go out in public? And I don't want to have the ego of like my role as a real estate agent is essential. However, it's a big part of the economy. And, listen, Tyler, we've talked about this. We're feeling it now, and we're really not going to feel this until we're looking June, July, August, right?
Yep.
Because the people that the federal government's doing a great job they're doing a great job as far as, responding as best as they can to this. And, there are some programs of deferring your mortgage payments and deferring your rent payments. And those things are great for the short term. However, once that period is up, all those payments are due.
Yeah.
That's something a lot of people think, oh, good, I'll just defer all my payments and I don't have to worry about it. We'll tack it on at the end. That's not always the case. So it's really important that as you get information from the world, understand where it comes from and make sure it's a credible source, because just think about the past. It seems like it's been, years that we've been dealing with this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The time. So think about in that short amount of time from today until when, I'm thinking January that this really hit us, because I remember a conversation with my daughter that she was deathly afraid of the coronavirus coming to the United States. I'm like, fine. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
And hey, yeah, guess what? There's cases next door.
Yep.
Maybe literally, who knows? We don't really know the extent of this right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing is just, cutting through that red tape and just understanding really what's making sense and what's going to be the right option to be able to move forward.
Well, I think something that's so frustrating out there right now is just the fact that, you have a lot of misinformation out there that's circulating. You have a lot of panic headlines that are raising more panic. And there's definitely, I'm not saying necessarily about the coronavirus itself, I'm saying economic impact. There's a lot of articles being written that are like, is this 2008 all over again? Is the housing market crashing? And so for some of those headlines to be out there, I would say, people need to get credible information with actual data behind it. So for those people that are sort of looking for that, what are some of the things that you would tell these people that might have been reading an article that says this is 2008 all over again, the economy's crashing? What are some of the big key points that you want to tell those people?
So I think the biggest thing, and I would throw it back as a hot potato, is what is the same, right? And I know you had written a great article that talked about, you've written some great articles over the past couple of weeks.
Thank you.
If anyone watching has not checked any of that out, Tyler's an awesome writer, and everything he does, he's great at. So definitely follow him and check into what he's writing and doing. You'll find that through our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And I'm not going to make pretend I know where everything is, because that's Tyler's world. So I think that one of the things that was brought up is that we're looking at we refer to as a shift, right? That's the industry term is a shift, and the shift is when we move from one market to the next. And what I mean by that, are we in a seller's market like we are now, where we're going to shift into a buyer's market, or are we in a buyer's market, we're going to shift into a seller's market, right? For people that don't understand those terms, seller's market is that there is more. Everything is all about supply and demand. It goes on a complete economic platform in the sense that the seller's market is there are more buyers in the market than there are homes for sale, right?
Yep.
And you flip that to the other side, a buyer's market, in which there's more properties for sale than there are buyers, right? And that's really how they leverage that. So are we going to shift? 100% yes, without a question, right? Again, you brought up a great point as far as data and really looking at, and analyzing data. Not everyone likes to do that, right? Everyone, we're all different. That's what makes the world go round. So what's important to look at is, really, we were on a 10-year cycle of real estate, right? And we have our seasonal, there's absolutely a seasonal shift of real estate, just like most, there's most of the businesses, follow where, right here, right now, spring, especially, we'll take New England, we're coming out of our igloos or our hibernation, and, everything's starting to pop and more properties hit the market. That is definitely the best time as far as the most activity is concerned, right? Is it the best time to list a property? Not necessarily. That's a whole other conversation as far as competition and, when is a good time to list. And motivation definitely has to do with that. So really, the summer will kind of dip down, the fall picks up again, the winter dips down. So we have our seasonal shifts, and then we've had this 10-year cycle of real estate that we've broken the mold on that. And so what causes the shift? You can look over history and figure out a lot of times it's, political that does that, or some, major economic factors come into play. 2008, definitely we can look at the mortgage industry and what happened there. So the shift in this marketplace is definitely going to happen in the sense that, we start to see it where, buyers start to back off a little bit, right? And the reason why is there's a lot of uncertainty and they're confused on what to do and what's going to happen next. So they'll start to pull off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then what will happen is as they back away from the market, more and more properties go on the market, and then the buyers will start to get more picky about the property they're looking at, right?
Yep.
And, and that's one thing that, it's really interesting to see how that happens. So really going back to the question is the bottom going to fall out like it did back in 2008? We don't think so. Really, we do see that there is going to be a shift. We definitely, there is an economic impact that's going to happen with this.
Yeah.
And, we have, as an industry, we have to be prepared to watch what happens. And, and it's a day-to-day thing that we're doing as far as looking at all those analytics of what's the market doing now and what is the market looking to do. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And amongst all of this, we're still seeing properties that you're having multiple offers. You're still seeing properties that are going under agreement within a couple of days. So the market is not frozen by any means.
No.
We've talked about this multiple times, and I equate this back to the political realm. So if you take our population in general, you can slice it up into thirds, right? And there's a third of the population that has no interest in politics whatsoever, does not vote, does not care. You have the opposite side of the spectrum where there's a third that is highly engaged, really understands what each candidate does, votes every single election, has a great pulse on the political scene. And then you have that third in the middle that has a little bit of information, kind of understands maybe, easy to jump on a bandwagon and just kind of maneuvering through and just hearing some of those headlines. And finding the exact same thing in what's happened with the coronavirus is that there is a third of the population that is completely frozen, afraid to walk outside of their doors. I was talking to a client yesterday that we helped them assist their buying their property. And, I said, how's your wife and your baby doing? And he said, my wife she hasn't left the house since this hit.
Yikes.
So really, he said, yeah, Renee, he said, she's afraid to take the outside. He said, she will not go out on the back deck. The back of their property is all, it's all enclosed in with bushes. And he said, she won't go outside.
Wow.
And he actually does, he's in a service that's with the medical field that's essential. And he like, Matt, I'm Purell, and right when I get out of the car, I have gloves, I got booties. I'm taking my clothes off. I'm PG, this show. I'm taking off, with my gloves, put them in a bag. I run them right up to the washing machine. I throw them in, and after I take a shower, then I can hold my daughter again, and I just said, that's,
Yeah.
And I talked to him, you've heard us say this, that right now, this is a time of no judgment, whatever people feel comfortable doing, like, that's okay right now.
Yeah.
So you go back to the other, you have a third of the population that's just, like us, we're pushing through, we're being as safe as possible. We know we're going to help to keep everything moving along as best as we can. You have a third that really doesn't know what to do and isn't really sure. And I think a lot of those headlines are throwing people off, and we're guilty of it too. We were on a call last week, could have been 2 weeks ago. We were on a call, and one of the leadership members of this region had said, "Hey, listen, this is what we got. We're really excited about this." And then hours later, they had to pull that back and say, "We're sorry, we had the wrong information."
Oh, wow.
So that was, to us, we're scratching our heads. We're like, okay, hold on a second here. And I think everyone had to pump the brakes and say, like, let's really slow this down, process what comes in. Let's, really dissect what we need to look at versus everything else, and help keep the world that we're in and what we're connected to, moving forward. So long and short of the answer is that we're going to see a correction. We don't see the market bottoming out like it did. And, it was a different time, there was,
Completely.
It was a different time, and we could be on a call like this for 4 or 5 days straight talking about what happened in 2008 and what was there.
Yeah.
So the economy is going to be affected. At what extent, we don't know. I mean, if you took the entire country, we're not there yet, we're close, but if you took the whole country and shut us all down, what's happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, the programs that are out there as far as deferring some of these payments are concerned, it's great for now. However, most of us have gotten our paychecks, and most of us have been are okay until just a week or two ago. Yeah. Then what does it look like, right?
Yeah.
Unemployment filings look like, and that the world out of the water as far the country out of the water. I'm sure the world. Everyone's looking at us. What are you guys doing about this whole thing? So
yeah.
Is the market going to correct? Yes. Are we due for it? Yes. Do we need it? Yes. We need markets to depreciate. We need markets to appreciate, and keep that cycle going. So,
but it sounds like to you, you're saying that we're not going to be receiving, or we're not sure, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a 33% just complete crash like in 2008. It's going to be a little more of a correction rather than a crash.
That's what we're seeing. That's what, and that's where, like I made the joke about as far as being on these video calls. I mean, I have never been in more masterminds than I have in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's really great to, as an agent and servicing clients in that industry, we're all in this together, right? So to be able to come up with ideas and move from there. And then just on a larger scale, as far as that we're all in this together, as far as dealing with this, right? We have 2 little ones at home. So not only am I working as a real estate agent, but now I am also a homeschool teacher.
Yeah.
Never would have signed up for that one, Tyler.
Yeah.
And, and that's a whole nother thing. When I was talking to the buyers today at the home inspection, we were just talking about the different industries and how they're, affected. One of the buyers is in the medical field, and she does a lot of, she's in clinical trials, right?
Oh, wow.
And so she was talking about how, they had to change their operations and what it's done. And compared to some of the other companies in her industry, they were very healthy going into this. So they're fine. She was telling me some of their competitors were really shaky going into this, and they're probably not going to survive this.
They're not going to make it.
Right. So it's interesting to sit back and, of course, we always get caught up in our own little nucleus of how this gets affected. That's why I always love putting on other people's hats, right? And
yeah.
I won't put their shoes on. I'll put that. No, just
shoes. People buy shoes on eBay. They buy them used all the time. You can wear.
I should say glasses, right? But probably anything I say is going to be this day and age, right?
Yeah.
I've had to change my language over the years. When I'm sitting down doing a consult, and if I talk to a buyer or a seller and I talk about a home inspection, and
Yeah.
just to make an example, I said, say the heating system, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes later, they're like, Matt, well, do you think there's a problem with our heating system? So
Yeah, you
now
just dig your own grave there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
your heating system is awesome. Bad example. So my language has changed. I don't use any examples anymore. I say widgets and sprockets, and people are like, what? All the widgets are missing from the house, so that way they're like, now I put the widgets in their mind. They're like, I wonder if I have widgets.
They're like, I wonder what widgets are.
Exactly.
I'm going to be Googling that after this. So.
Well, in my demented mind, it's kind of like gears. Widgets are gears.
Yeah.
Sprockets are like springs. I don't know.
Well, now there's the phone widgets and the apps that are referred to as widgets that you can put on your webpage. So there's a whole can of worms we could open with that.
I'm old school. I'm not touching those apps.
Well, that makes a lot of sense in terms of the overall economy. I guess let's go hyperlocal now. Let's kind of dive in. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this that live in local towns, Massachusetts area, maybe even southern New Hampshire. What are you seeing in terms of you being in these local towns, selling things? Like, where are your listings right now? Where are these buyers looking? Are there any towns that you're seeing a lot of activity as opposed to others? What does that look like?
No, I don't think so. I mean, and it's a great question, right? And it's a really, I can't give you a direct answer unless we said, let's pick this town, right? Because, as we work with a lot of different investors. So I have, we work in North Central Mass with a lot of investors of Gardner, Fitchburg, Leominster, that's, further west out into Athol, Orange. And then, most of the markets that we deal with specifically are, Townsend, Pepperell, Groton, Westford, Acton, Air, those territories, really where we are. And we do things in Leominster, Lunenburg, Fitchburg. I mean, we're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Just because of the network that we have of people that we know from our past lives, that we assist with. And, we're licensed in New Hampshire, we're licensed in Massachusetts. So, we'll go pretty far, until it doesn't make sense anymore. And then, we'll have to refer that out to one of the top agents in that market.
Yeah.
So take some place like, like a Westford and a Groton, strong school systems, always going to be a high demand there. You have your entry-level markets like some of your Leominsters and your Fitchburgs. Those are very competitive as far as the first-time home buyers are concerned.
Yep.
So, if we sliced up, just to go hyper-local with our client base of who we have for buyers that are looking and who we have for sellers. We have a listing coming on in Townsend in the next couple of weeks. We have a listing coming on in Leominster. We have a couple listings coming on in Westford, probably in about 2 months. I don't have the sheet in front of me. I have buyers that are looking in that are looking Bill Ricker, Westford, Ashby, Ashburnham.
Wow. So just all over the map.
Yeah, I mean, we're all over the place. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's really, and again, it's those all the markets are still moving.
Yeah.
You take and really it goes back to the three conditions, the three factors that help move a property as far as a sale is concerned. Right.
Yeah.
And this is not, this is not a secret formula that I created. It's the price.
It's not? Okay, go ahead.
I sat down and I created this thing to tell people about real estate.
I always credited you as the founder of this, so I guess I was a little off. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I created the internet too, but All right, so all right, no more tomfoolery. So,
all right.
So the we'll give credit to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, right? They have all and all the a proud member of that group. So and MAR, the Massachusetts Association of Realtors, and the Northeast Association of Realtors. So anyway, I could go on and on. So completely lost my train of thought. The
three factors.
The three factors. Thank you, Tyler. See. the rail.
This is fun.
It is fun. So you have the, and we're actually working right now, believe it or not.
I know.
So the, nice shirt, by the way. So we have the price of a property, the condition of a property, and the location of a property, right? Those are the three magic factors that we have to look at. And of course, and my dumb dad joke is we can't change the location of the property without spending an exorbitant amount of money. But I actually showed a property that was, forget where it was, but they literally picked up this house from the 1800s and moved it. And it's in Westford now. And we actually, we toured that property. It was pretty interesting. And
Wow.
It was pretty cool. So what was the cost of that? I don't know. However, it's not just, it's not some paint and a couple of pieces of hardwood up your kitchen.
No.
So that's really, you know, that's what's really important as far as us advising and consulting and really helping our clients understand where the market is and what's happening. So that way, as far as price is concerned, we can stay up ahead of the market. And as far as the condition, we can assist them to make sure that they get those properties in the right condition so that they will attract a buyer. So the people that are just saying, hey, throw the house on the market, let's see what happens. Unless those people are living in a pristine condition and they've updated their house, you know, every day along the way they had home ownership, there might be some challenges there because, you know, it's really our job and the stager's job and the photographer's job to help present that property in the best light possible.
Yeah.
So that's where, you know, you'll see the house sitting on the market with the long days on market that are overpriced and those people just wanting to test out the waters and see what's going on.
Gotcha.
So it's really important, and it's really, you know, my day has, you know, again, we've had to change how we operate a little bit. So I've just spent a little more, you know, time in the morning looking at these numbers, understanding what's on the market, you know, and you know, we have great data as far as the state's concerned. However, even though I'm licensed in all Massachusetts, those numbers are important. However, like you said, those hyper local numbers where we do most of our business. I mean, that's where most of our client base is. And so we really have to understand what's going on there to advise them, you know, to come up with a pricing strategy and to help out as far as condition. You know, I had someone about 3 weeks ago, they said, Matt, like, I don't really want to do all those things. I just want to throw it on and see what happens. You know, that conversation has completely changed to last week was, I'm not doing that. I unfortunately, your property will sit on the market. We've got to do some things. If we don't want to spend any money, that's fine. However, we got to really depersonalize. We got to rake up the yard. We got to do as much as we can to present this property as best as possible, so we will get an offer as quick as we possibly can and move the transaction.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. So it really has to be the right condition in order to sell it. And
that's, you know, that's the great thing about technology is that, you know, we can. If I was not in real estate, I could kind of have a rough idea, right? There's so much data and so much sites out there that I could, you know, kind of look that if 123 Main Street was selling at 300,000 and then 225 Main Street's almost the exact same house, you know, is on the market for 350,000, sat there, you know, it's been on the market for 120 days. As a buyer, I'm looking at that saying, you know what, I can kind of get a rough idea what the inside looks like. It looks like the house that sold for 300,000. I'm not really seeing what the comparison is with that equal price is.
Yeah.
So $350,000 property that's testing the market, they're going to sit there for a long time and they're going to chase the market. And most, you know, what we've seen over time is that when sellers are chasing the market, they're going to get below what the market value is.
Yeah.
Right. And I just, and I want to throw my 2 cents in there, Tyler, because there's a lot of people, I always explain some of the terms, you know, you and I could talk shop all day long, start talking comps, talk absorption rates, start talking all these things that aren't going to make sense to anyone else because it's our inside language.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, you know, when I talk comps, that's the sold comparables. There's a whole thing of, you know, how to, it's a pretty, you know, I could say there's a whole thing behind it. It's pretty simple. It's, you know, you take the property, you put that in a box. It has the X beds, X bath, X square footage, X acreage, and you draw a circle around that, and you have a radius, usually a half mile, unless someplace like a Townsend or an Ashburnham, which is further out. And, you know, you take those, you compare them to what that property is, and that's where you come up with, you know, your pricing. And so or to price a property, or if we're assisting to buy a property to make sure it's priced correctly. So
Yep.
analyze the market on both sides. So there's a couple of important terms that I hear all the time when people are looking online, which I think is important, and I'll go just a layer deep. So you have what's called the market value of a property, you have an appraised value of a property, and you have the assessed value, right? The market value is really what someone's willing to pay in this market and what the comparables are. Today's market value can be different from yesterday's market value. It could be different from last year, 2 years. You know, it's going to completely change.
Yep.
So that's what the market value is. And then the fun one, people, you know, especially with buyers, they're like, oh, I saw the assessed value is this, and you know, they're selling the house at this, like they're ripping us off. Like we're overpaying if we pay that price. And unfortunately, the assessed value. What the town knows about the property, and lost my train of thought. You had a little ghost in the background. So yeah, and I see you like casually try to shut the door, like, hey, what are you doing?
Shoo.
Man, good thing this isn't live. No, I'm just kidding. That's
why
I had to lock I had to lock my door so the kids couldn't run in and like give me a hug, like, Dad, what are you doing now? That's okay when I'm talking to an office, but when I'm on the thing, we're talking to clients, that doesn't really fly. So, although
they would think that's adorable, I'm sure.
They do. You know, it's the same type of thing, Tyler. When you know that we go out and we knock doors when we have open houses, and I've brought the kids out many a time knocking doors, and you know, most of the time it's a pretty fun experience, and it definitely it eliminates the creep factor of like, you know. You know, everyone's demeanor, right? So if I just have a straight face,
yeah,
you know, I can look really serious and, you know, kind of ominous, right? So
yeah.
I go knock on someone's door, I'm like, you know, I'm like the court gesture. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know, they're like, who's this guy knocking on my 5 o'clock on the, you know, it's in the middle of a snowstorm. I'm like, what is this all about? So,
and why is he so happy? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're like, can I help you with something? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm inviting you to an open house. I'm like, what? Yeah, exactly. You get to pick your neighbor. If you know friends and family, have them come over. So that's another thing. I could spend hours on hours telling you funny stories about the interaction with door knocking. So.
Oh, trust me, we're definitely going to add that into the next podcast. We'll do a segment for that.
We should do that, and I should bring the girls in because my oldest daughter. I don't know where we are in time and how long we can go with this, but I have to tell you this now. My kids love going out to eat, and we've really cut back. You know, before this whole thing, we cut back on that. So yeah, I went to pick them up from school, and so or from their after school day after school daycare program. Mm-hmm. I guess we can call it late afternoon program, whatever. I'm eating minutes. Okay, so anyway.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, yeah. So anyway, yeah. Hey, I'm Matt Sork. How are you? So it was funny because I was like, hey, so my wife was supposed to pick up the kids, right, to bring them home, and I was going to go knock doors. And I, you know, of course, I committed to the seller I was going to do this for them. So I had to follow through. I had to, and I wanted to follow up for it because I do enjoy going out talking to people. So I said, kids, guess what we're going to do? And they're like, we're going out to eat, dada. And I said, no, we're doing something else. They're like, what are we doing? I said, it's going to be really fun. And I said, oh, are we going, you know, we're going to Dave and Buster's? I was like, no, we're not going to play arcade games. You know, we're not playing skateball. They said, what are we doing? I said, we're going to go to a neighborhood and we're going to knock on people's doors and invite them to come to an open house tomorrow. And they're sarcastic, and my kids got that gene from me. And I said, oh, that's so funny. No. What are we really doing? Are we going out to eat? And I said, no. Knocking on people's doors. And it was awesome. You know, people may not know me, but I used to own a direct sales company, and we used to go knock door to door selling these coupon books, right? So for me, it was one of the best things in my life to be able to deal with rejection. Because if you go talk to 100 people a day knocking on the door, 90 of them are saying no, like probably 75% of them slamming the door in your face, like, I don't want to buy a Bible, leave me alone, I don't want coconut, you know? Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I don't know how I spun off on that tangent, but
no, that's awesome. Well, speaking of so that's actually one of the things I was thinking about. Speaking of your daughters, I think one thing, we will definitely get the best door knocking stories for next podcast. That sounds awesome. But
especially my little one.
Yes. Oh yeah, Yuna. She's a force of nature. So I wanted to ask you, and this is sort of for the parents out there. This is a little less real estate focused, but what does what's it like having your kids at home? Do you have any tips for people that are, whether they're sellers, buyers, or whether they're just normal people with their kids at home? What are you doing right now to sort of help your kids learn and stay sane?
I'm chuckling because you said buyers, you said sellers, buyers, or normal people, right? So those are the abnormal people, right?
Those are the different ones.
Yeah. So to all the people out there, whether you're I think it's an interesting, watch my body language. I'm, getting into the conversation here. It's interesting because when this, I don't even know where to start with this, Tyler. So we knew things were coming, right? And it was a Thursday. We found out that the next day school was canceled, right? And so we said, okay, so because they were deep cleaning, right? This was before anything really hit.
Yep.
So they were all excited. And then during Friday, we found out that school was canceled for 2 weeks, right?
Wow.
And I was blown away by that. And the first thing I said was, okay, wait a second. I'm working, right? The great thing about real estate is I can work from home and then I'm out in the field. So, and with Keller Williams having so much training and support for us, I mean, there's so much for us to grab onto, which I'm so grateful for. However, I said, how am I going to operate for, having my 2 kids run the house, right? We're a family that we, good, bad, or indifferent. We're not really big into letting them play with iPhones or iPads. To use them on the weekends if they want to. And luckily most of it is, they want to learn how to draw things and they're using educational things.
Awesome.
After the past couple of weeks, we're definitely, I'm walking at nighttime. I'm like, all right, it's dinner time. And we're letting them use the electronics. And my daughter's like, Dad, hold on a second. I just got a new cat and I got to feed all my cats before. I'm like, if you're happy, you're fine, whatever. So really, all of a sudden, that Friday night, my daughter is all excited because, and she's like, oh, this is great. Like we have a vacation. And the parent in me was like, now myself as a kid, I would have been like, yay, no, it's
yeah, exactly.
However, as a parent, right, I was like, and as a parent that has to be in the house with them, no. We're going to have schoolwork. They're going to have homework. And they're like, what do you mean we're going to have homework? So, and I have to be quiet when I tell this story because the kids still don't know. I went and printed out from this website called ED Helper. I printed out these first grade reading packets, first grade math packets, fourth reading packets, fourth grade math packets. I had, each of the packets was like 20 pages long and they each had 3 packets.
Wow.
I'm like, here's your homework. And they're like,
wow.
The school gave us homework, right? Now I'm very honest. I don't want to lie to the kids, right? Except for like the tooth fairy. So anyway, so they're like, the school sent this to us? And I was like, well, yeah. I said, I didn't say yeah. I said, well, I printed it offline for you guys. And they're like, oh, okay. Right? Every statement was very vague. And then they start looking through the packets and my youngest was like, what is this? I'm like, oh, they're fractions. She's like, we've never learned this. I'm like, oh no. This is like, what is this? I'm like, well, there's decimals. And she's like, I don't know how to do this. They said that we're going to learn this at the end of the year. And I'm like, it's so simple. Like you can figure this out. They're like, why would the teachers give us all this work that we don't even know how to do? I'm like,
They started figuring it out.
Yeah. So, again, with a blanket state, I was like, just some kids learn at a different rate, it's, everyone's a little bit different, and I apologize to Ashby because they're part of our school system. So, of course, my youngest was like, yeah, maybe the kids in Ashby aren't learning as fast as we are. Right. So, we love you, Ashby. You're right next to us. Right.
Yep,
so that was something, just to, and I felt like one of those, I'm like, I'm a militant dad. You're going to have homework. You're going to do this, right?
Yeah.
And really, so that was my kind of my first tip. And I think most, and now that they're starting to do Google Classrooms, they're starting to do Zoom now. But, again, kind of put that hat on from a different industry. Like, how does the school system handle this? Right?
Yeah.
How do they handle kids that don't have any type of technology, that they don't have laptops? And if the school can give them laptops, like our school system allows 2 Chromebooks per household, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how we can afford that, but that's something I guess we have.
Yeah.
So if say they're provided that, if there's kids at home that don't have internet or don't have the bandwidth to do that, so
Yeah. That's definitely something that they're talking about in the school systems too. Those kids that don't have technology.
Now do we have a new category of special needs in the sense that like those kids need to have a different way of learning without technology? So that's a whole nother challenge. And then we started looking online and the big thing for us, working out of we have an office space inside of the Keller Williams office in Westford, and not going there every day has been a challenge. When I first started, I attempted working from home and I just wasn't a good work at home person. I needed to be in that office. I needed to have that professional setting. So as far as with the kids, we said, okay, we had to create structure for ourselves. And we said, we have to have some type of structure for the kids, right? I'm not a school teacher. I never wanted to be a school teacher. Hats off to the school teachers. You're incredible. Thank you for, educating our kids. However, I don't know how to put a curriculum together, and I don't know what, I have an idea of what they're learning, but I don't know how to put lesson plans together for them.
Yeah.
So someone had, we got something, there was one of the, like, what's going on Facebook groups. One of the parents or one of the school teachers just said, hey, listen, you're not a teacher, right? You're not going to be able to have your kids in a classroom environment from 9 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon like we do.
Yep.
So if you can have have the kids get up at, like they normally do, have the same structure of brushing your teeth, washing your face, brushing your hair, get dressed, have breakfast, do some things, and then do some type of education, right? So we figured like, all right, an hour and a half in the morning of some type of non-technology, right? So, we've said, hey kids, grab a book. Or a short story, read it, and then write me a book report, right? And I don't want just 3 sentences, that's on a little, put some energy into it so that they're learning and it's eating up some time so that, they're not interrupting my next phone call, right?
I love that.
So that's been something. And then, having a lunch time, a recess time, having a lunch time, having the afternoon session. And the afternoon session is more, based around technology, where if they're watching some learning shows on TV, if they're, I think it's called Prodigy. It's some app that the kids, go into. It's all about, it's all educational based games, right? And that's something we've loosened our restrictions on the kids with the technology a little bit, just to keep them organized. Keep them occupied, keep them interacting, and just have something else that they're doing that is more learning based. The feeding the kitten, that's really not, there's no education behind that, right? Well, they want a dog, and I'm like, listen, they're like, what, can we train a dog virtually? And I was like, doesn't matter. We're not going to get a dog if you get like an A+ on your little virtual project, because back in the morning, the iPhone could go beep, 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 but that dog barking and licking you to take him outside, that's a whole other situation.
Yeah, that's a completely different thing. Exactly.
So I think that, roundabout answer of the whole thing, Tyler, my advice to other parents, take advantage of what we're going through right now. There is always opportunity, in despair. And that's really, with a positive mindset, that's really what we're looking at. I think our biggest challenge that we're working through, and I'm grateful to one of my coaches, Brian Del Maso, it's all about the mindset, right? And we can come through this, we're either going to be a leader through this or we're going to be a victim through this, right? I have to lead my family, and I have to lead them. We're taking advantage of the, now it's like, okay, at 5 o'clock, like we're really shutting everything down, and we're taking walks with the kids. We're getting them involved with more things of doing things around the house, doing some chores.
Yep.
Telling them, hey, listen, because I am busy and I don't want to have to stop all the time. Hey, listen, go make yourself a sandwich. Go do this. And it's like, and letting them experiment with some things. The other day they were like, hey, can we bring out a bunch of things and do a science experiment? And I'm thinking, as long as you don't have gasoline, as long as you don't have matches.
Yeah. Like, can we just borrow a Bunsen burner, 3 matches? Avoid that, the fire experiments. But yeah, anything else is go.
Yeah, here's flour, coloring. Go ahead, have fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a little better.
But if you stay in your clothes, go. So be it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think just to I guess one of the other bigger things for us with our mentality, we're pushed through type of people. We're that, doesn't matter what happens to us in life, we're going to keep going through it. And at the beginning of this, that was the message we were sending to the kids. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at them and, saying that to them, it's in one ear and out the other, and they're extremely worried about it. Right. So
Yep.
we've had to do some, I think not by daily, every other day.
Yeah.
Every couple days is just more of a, hey, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Feeling about this?
Mm-hmm.
How are you dealing with your sister being with you all the time? How are you dealing with us being around the house and not really being able to help you?
Yep.
How are you feeling about missing your friends? There's everything that's going along with this, and it's been interesting to open up those lines of communication and have a different relationship with the kids because of a whole different circumstance that we've never been through. And
Yeah.
watching us, that was one of my conversations that Friday night when we found out school was canceled for 2 weeks. That was that's how I led into it. I said, so girls, interesting day today. And I shut the TV off and they said, oh geez, here comes a lecture from dad. And I said, and I saw they rolled their eyes and I wanted to, I was upset with them. Don't roll your eyes.
Yeah.
So I said, listen, I said, no, I said, I just want to talk to you girls. I said, there's a couple things going on in the world that we need to talk about. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, today was an interesting day. I said, what'd you think about today? And they're like, oh, it was fun. We ran around, did this. I said, okay. And they said, of course, I was waiting for them. And they said, well, why was it an interesting day? I said, well, today I found out school was canceled for 2 weeks. And they said, yeah, we heard that. I said, yeah. I said, I'm really confused by that.
Yeah.
I've never had a time when school was canceled for 2 weeks.
Mm-mm.
Never mind, school was canceled for 2 weeks because of a sickness.
Yeah.
I said,
Yep.
So for me to be confused and feel this is strange, I just thought you probably had that same feeling.
Yep.
Nervous about a couple things. And they were like, yeah, we are. Right. And then that was just a great lead in and just, it's, I think that the world, we move at such a fast pace.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a strange hiccup for us that has really caused us to be more focused on our families, right? Whether it's checking in on people that we can't physically go see, having different conversations with our kids, and really, it's always interesting to see things through kids' eyes.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a really interesting experience to live through the eyes of a child and how they're processing this whole thing, and
Yeah.
just, and just saying, hey, listen, we're going to get through this. Some people we know are going to get sick. Some we know might die from this. We just have to be as safe as we can and just maneuver through this as best as we can and understand that we're all in this together.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if that answered the question. A couple stories. I don't know.
No, that's good. I like the stories. That's what we're all here for. No, but that does make sense. Having those conversations with the children, making sure that they sort of understand what's going on, but not to panic them necessarily, but, also letting them know your own vulnerabilities as a parent, like what you did, telling them that you don't know how to really process this.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, this is definitely something tough for all parents. I'm sure a lot of parents are enjoying the quality time with their family, but also, probably going a little bit crazy at points too, with the kids being inside and home, and not being able to get out all that energy too. It's not like they're out playing sports like they usually are. And, I'm a hockey player. I've noticed I've been like singing out loud and dancing, and I'm like, what is going on with me? And I think it's just the fact that there's no replacement for the physical activity I was getting. So I'm just, everyone's trying to sort of mitigate that, Yeah.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and people that are close to me know this. I am a big dedicated dance dad. My girls are both in dance class.
Yep.
The fact that their recital might be canceled, I'm like, no, the recital.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. When's that scheduled for?
June. So it's,
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope it works out, but I did just unfortunately have to postpone my wedding from June to September. So June's looking like gatherings still might not be there, but who knows? Maybe they'll find some way. Outdoor dance recital, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, I think that's wraps it up. We've been going for about an hour. Hasn't felt like it. Great talking to
I
you,
know. I
Mr.
feel like we
Schwartz.
just keep going, and that's, you know that sometimes my conversations get long-winded and one story spins to another story to another story.
I'm telling you, that's perfect for podcasting. Let me tell you, like some of the number one podcasts, I watch way too many podcasts, and some of the best podcasts out there, they just go on these long stories. And for some people, it's great. And for other people, they don't like that. They can skip ahead,
Yeah.
So let everyone knows they can skip ahead always.
Awesome.
So I'll wrap it up. Do you have anything else to say, Matt?
No, I'm confused because I am looking out the window and there's a car pulling into my driveway.
Oh boy.
I don't usually get visitors, so especially during a pandemic.
Yeah, you guys are pretty remote too. So, well, all right, everyone.
It's my mother and father-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, exciting. Yeah, I wonder what they're here for. They probably, typical parent. They're probably, afraid that we're not eating correctly, and they cooked all this food and brought it to the house.
Delivering cooked food. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your time, Tyler. This was great, and this is a lot of fun. I hope there was someone could take something out of this that they could
definitely
come into their lives or just help with. And we're always here for a resource, regardless of what it is. And if you just want to pick up the phone and talk about kids, you want to talk about the Bruins. I'll talk about the Maple Leafs with you, Tyler. I know you're a Maple Leafs guy, so.
You can't say that out loud.
No, I got to let the cat out of the bag without a question.
Man.
So, I got my mother-in-law's calling right now. She's locked out of the house, and my wife is probably on the phone. So.
Oh boy! All right, I'll end it. Don't worry.
No, I'll let her in a second. So that if anyone has any questions, definitely reach out. You can find us on Facebook. You can call us. Call me directly on my cell 978-602-2816. Tyler, where do you want to send everyone from all the different social media? What's the best platform for people to reach out for?
You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. We're going to start growing that channel a lot. That's the focus of 2020. Instagram, we post sometimes. And stay tuned because I'm going to talk next week about TikTok a little bit. Maybe we'll get a TikTok going. But for now, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And just thank you to everyone. We also want to say thank you to all the healthcare workers, all the essential employees out there that are working through this. I go to the grocery store as little as I can, but whenever I'm there, I'm amazed that there's people working 8-hour shifts. So good for them, and thank you. And of course, support local businesses. Order out a lot if you can, as long as they're open and they're doing curbside delivery or whatever. See if you can support those local businesses. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, and then and along those lines, if you're in the financial situation to be able to, even ordering gift cards, because it's, as a real estate agent, and running this team, it is a small business. We used to be, own another small business, and it really makes a difference when people are shopping. There's a choice of kind of limited right now, but you want to make sure that your favorite place. We would love to support everyone, right? But the places that you frequent, that provide you great service. If you can't buy anything from them right now, grab a gift card. Anything you do to support them, that you can use in the future, because it's gonna get a lot tighter, and that's my word of wisdom to everyone right now. Whether you're in a business or just running your household, this is something we've been doing. Look at everything you have and slice as much as you can.
Yep.
Right. And the best way to do that, print out a past couple statements of your credit card bill, those reoccurring charges that you don't think twice about. I'm sitting to look at some things. I'm like, I don't really need that. I haven't used that service. I got to cut that. It doesn't make any sense for us.
Yeah. Yep.
Be smart about your finances, break it all down, and create a budget, stick to it. And, we'll get out of this. We don't have a choice, right?
Yeah, we're gonna wake up tomorrow and keep doing what we're doing. So
yeah. And it'll be one of those. It'll definitely be one of those events that everyone will remember. How it hit or when it first came and what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
So that
well,
was really weird. I just now they're leaving. So I
Oh,
got
you missed them.
I got to find out what's going on. I don't know if they didn't think we're home, but at least I could go out there and wave to them. So.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
All right, Tyler.
Through the
Have a
window.
great day. I'll talk to you soon, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yep. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.